Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're here with part 44 of our F1 2021 MyTeam career mode here for the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. Last time out we were in Canada for the Canadian Grand Prix, where we finished second place behind Sebastian Vettel after a crazy last lap battle between myself, Leclerc, Vettel, and our teammate Daniel Ricciardo. You can see here are the driver standings heading into this round. We're just a couple points ahead of Leclerc, and then Vettel sits in third, and our teammate Ricciardo right down in sixth place. He has been performing a little bit better in the most recent races, so hopefully he can keep that performance up. And it is crucial for us to ensure that we stay ahead of Charles Leclerc to try and extend our championship lead. We did have not the greatest qualifying this time around, Ricciardo did, and obviously Leclerc always has an incredible qualifying session, so we've got a bit of work to do heading into this race. I believe we're down in P7, yeah, a lot of work to do, but this is normally a track that I do quite enjoy, so I've got some good confidence that we can come back and have a strong result this weekend. But without further ado, let's have a look at the grid order.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Hamilton, Benjamin, Norris, Sainz and Pierre Gasly, Joe, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda and Ocon, Russell, Stroll, Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi, Mazepin, Matsushita, Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So here we are sitting on the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. We line up in P7, which isn't great by our standards, but I say that and we are still ahead of both McLaren Audis, Lando Norris in P8, Sainz in P9. So at least at this point we're still outperforming our sort of main competitor when it comes to engine supply. Obviously, as I've said before, Audi and ourselves, the only two teams running the Audi power this season. Our Audi's first season as a power unit supplier. The McLaren team, for whatever reason, so far this season just haven't been performing at the same level they were last season, and they've just been dropping further and further away from ourselves, Red Bull and Mercedes. So, yeah, we've got a nice tight field here. There should be lots and lots of battles as we go. 5 red lights, away we go. It was a long wait for us there on the grid. It's not the best start we've ever had as we head down towards turn 1. We've got McLarens on either side of us. We're going to go 3 wide through turn 1, and Norris has hit us. Norris spins. He's going to drop right down the field, and he's out of the race. He's retired after turn 1. You can see his front left wheel has broken off as he's hit that sort of barrier to stop drivers from going over into the pit lane, and it is a safety car before we even reach turn 2. So a huge shame there for the reigning world champion. You can see we're going to have a watch of a replay of Norris's onboard here. He got a much better start than we did. He was right on the inside, and for whatever reason, there was plenty of room there, but he just decided to go right up on the white line. And yeah, that just didn't afford him the opportunity to really make the corner, and so he's just run straight into the side of us. And luckily we got no barge board damage or anything. You can see there, he just went straight into the side of our car and spins out. And we're going to have a look here on board with George Russell. He was a bit further back just to have a look at what the chaos was caused. Look at this, everyone having to stop and make sure there's no damage or crashes. So really a good job there by everyone to make sure that Norris was the only one to end up retiring out of the race. A few of those further back cars did have to pit for some front wing damage or whatever reason they had to, maybe puncture or something. But yeah, we're going to go through a little running order check now for this safety car. So Leclerc still leads the way ahead of Ricciardo and Vettel in third. The two Red Bulls remain in fourth and fifth, of Perez and Verstappen. Ourselves in sixth. We were able to jump Lewis Hamilton, who's now down to P7, so we've just swapped positions with him. Sainz now sits in P8, where Norris initially started. Obviously, him now retiring. That promotes Sainz up a spot. Pierre Gasly is in P9. and Fernando Alonso in the BWT Alpine rounds out the top 10. So yeah, it's sort of the usual running order there with Alonso just about skimming into the points, but Zhou Guan Yu in the other Mercedes, you can see outside the points in P11, so he'll be wanting to get inside the points if he wants any chance of retaining his Mercedes seat anytime soon, because, yeah, I doubt Mercedes is going to be very lenient on the performances that Zhou has been showing, but you can see here, end of lap 3, start of lap 4, the safety car restart is underway. We immediately right up alongside Max Verstappen, looking to see if we can maybe go for a move down into turn 1. Yes, we do, late on brakes. We're going to go side by side, and he does back out there, so we get ahead, a bit of a tank slapper from us, and further behind now, Verstappen is going to go side by side with Lewis Hamilton, who's trying to find a way through. Same with Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly as well, so 4 cars all trying to get into P6 there, and it's going to be Sainz that's actually alongside Verstappen now, so he was able to get a Hamilton, and now it's the McLaren versus the Red Bull, and Gasly actually a bit further back, you might be able to see there, has gotten ahead of Hamilton as well. So Hamilton went from trying to get into P6 to now being down to P9. Meanwhile, Sainz and Verstappen still going side by side. Verstappen is able to pull it off and get ahead and stay in P6. Sainz is a big beneficiary there, getting himself into P7. Gasly moves up a spot in 8th as well, and Hamilton will be absolutely kicking himself that he just lost 2 spots there, trying to make up 1 spot, but that's the way Formula 1 is, and the way motorsport is in general. You can try and make a spot, but you could also end up losing spots in trying to do that. So as we now head on to lap number 6, we're right on the back of Sergio Perez. As we head down towards turn 2 and 3, we're going to pull up alongside. We're pretty much all the way ahead before the braking zone. You can see Perez in the mirror there, just pulls that back in behind us before we even get on the brakes. So very nice simple move from us there, as we now try and chase down Sebastian Vettel, who's actually going to have a look and making a move on our teammate. He's not quite able to make a move. Ricardo covers him very nicely there. So good to see our teammate up in P2, but if he doesn't get a move on, Leclerc is going to run away. He's already outside of the DRS zone for when that gets enabled next time out, and you can see it has been enabled now, and Ricciardo doesn't have DRS on Leclerc, but Vettel does have DRS on Ricciardo, so they're going to go side by side up towards turn 3. Is Vettel going to be able to hang it around the outside of the hairpin-ish sort of corner there? I don't even know what sort of corner you really call that, but he is alongside. He has DRS once again, so he's going to once again try and go to the outside. Vettel not seeming very keen on going for an inside move, as he's now going to try and hold around the outside of turn 4. Is he able to make a move? No. So Vettel is able to hold, Ricciardo is able to hold off Vettel, but now Gasly trying to defend from Hamilton. Hamilton trying to find a way through and make up those spots he lost. But now Alonso is actually going to go for a dive on Hamilton, so Hamilton's really struggling to make up places, and every time he tries to, he loses a spot. So Fernando Alonso there, the 2-time champion, showing that he can still perform in that Alpine, which isn't the greatest car. So, yeah, very good to see that he's certainly still got it, despite being one of the oldest drivers on the grid. In fact, he might actually be the oldest driver on the grid now that Kimi Raikkonen has retired. So as they head down towards turn 1, Hamilton not able to make a move on Alonso, but here comes Sebastian Vettel once again for the 3rd lap in a row now, trying to make a move on our teammate. He's once again going to go to the outside of turn 3. He's going to try and hang it around there. It's going to be pretty much the same as last time out, where Ricciardo is not going to have DRS, and Vettel tries to pull back in behind. You can see here's our view of that battle happening up ahead, as Vettel actually gets the move done this time into turn 4. So Ricciardo down to P3, and he'll be looking to make a move on the German, but Vettel is on very good form after taking that win last time out in Canada, and I'm sure he'll be looking to maybe try and chase down his teammate now for a win. But you can see here on lap number 9 now, Ricciardo is right on the back of him still, and now we are right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo, so we're going to see if maybe we can get ourselves into P3 or maybe even P2 if we're lucky enough. We're right in the slipstream of Ricciardo. Ricciardo goes defensive, so we're going to go to the outside of turn 4. We're going to brake as late as we can, but Ricciardo just brakes that little bit later and is able to sort of hang us out to dry, and yeah, we have to just slot back in to P4 behind our teammates, so we're just going to have to wait by that time now. The end of lap 9, once again, we get a much better exit out of the last corner. We're going to try and bait our teammate here right to the inside, so he goes defensive, and now we're going to go to the outside of turn 1 and sweep around the outside of our teammate and get ourselves onto the podium position from P7 at the start of the race. 10 laps in, we are now on a podium position, chasing down Sebastian Vettel to better that position to P2 now. And with some actually a last-second dive there into turn 3. I wasn't even meant to go for a move there, but we just had that much momentum over Vettel, and now we are up into P2. So that came out of absolutely nowhere, and that obviously caught Vettel out by surprise because he's had a horrible exit, and now our teammate Ricciardo is going to try and go around the outside of the Ferrari, and is he able to do it? No, this time it's Vettel that leaves Ricciardo out to dry there on the outside. And actually here on lap 11, you can see it's Charles Leclerc into the pit lane. This is a very, very early stop there, so I think Leclerc might actually be on a 2-stop strategy which I don't know. I don't think that's going to work. You can see myself and Ricciardo staying out. We're on a one-stop strategy. We'll be pitting onto mediums a little later on. And Vettel, I can confirm, he doesn't pit next lap to go onto the two-stop strategy. So, yeah, only Leclerc and maybe a couple others that are a bit further down the field going for that alternate strategy compared to us. As we now head down the back straight, you can see Vettel trying to chase us down still. Is he close enough? Actually, yes, he is. He had some amazing closing speed, so is he able to make the move stick? He's going to go around the outside. That move we have seen so far hasn't worked for anyone this race, and actually, Vettel's kept it there. I was about to say no, we pull ahead, but no, he's kept his nose in there. So we're going to go side by side through the middle sector of the track here, still going side by side with the Ferrari. Ricciardo's just waiting, biding his time to see if maybe he can make a position out of it, and he's just pulling ahead before the last two corners, and he just sweeps around the outside. That was a beautiful move by the two of us there to make sure there was no contact. Completely clean, fair racing. But now we have the DRS on the German in the Ferrari there, so we pull ahead, and I'm not able to go back on the racing line, but he's not really able to hold it around the outside, except now he will have DRS once again on lap 13. So very much like Canada last time out, it just seems to be every lap we're just swapping positions left, right, and center, and not really anyone gaining any places. You can see we lock up into turn 3 there. That allows Vettel to go for a bit of a switchback. And now we're going to go side by side down towards turn 4, except Vettel gets quite a bit ahead there, and so we're not really able to do anything about it. We just have to sit behind and wait for maybe to make a move next lap, or whenever the opportunity next presents itself. But here we go, end of lap 13, which same lap Vettel just made the move, so it is going to be straight away. We're going to go for a move to the outside of turn 1 there, try and force Vettel to go as tight as possible so we can sweep around the outside, get as good a run as possible. We actually get the DRS again, so Vettel's going to be super vulnerable with a poor exit and no DRS to our teammate, and Ricciardo does get himself into P2 there. So it's a 1-2 for Zvezky Racing once again, as the Red Bulls actually swap position behind us. You can see Verstappen getting ahead of Perez, and Leclerc, you can see on the getting ahead of Pierre Gasly on the totem pole there. So Leclerc slowly moving his way forward on those fresher tyres, but now on lap 15, here we go. Here's the first round of one-stop pit stops here. Ricciardo and Vettel into the pit lane. They'll be going on to medium tyres. Max Verstappen also into the pit lane. Perez obviously continuing because Red Bull don't want to double stack. So I imagine he'll come in next lap, same as us. Here's Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. He's in. Lewis Hamilton's going to be in. So he's actually gotten himself back ahead of Fernando Alonso there. You can see Alonso coming in now. So yeah, Alonso wasn't able to hold off the Mercedes for the rest of the race. By the looks of it, we can see everyone going on to fresh medium tyres, and everyone's going to be trying to push that till the end of the race. But you can see Leclerc's already gone past by a mile as well. He's out of turn 3 now, and as we now go back to Ricciardo, he's only about halfway towards turn 3 from the pit lane. So that undercut has worked absolute wonders there for Leclerc. You can see here's Carlos Sainz actually getting himself ahead of Sergio Perez there. All of us here on our in-lap. So yeah, interesting to see maybe the McLaren a little bit better on the tyres than the Red Bulls. And yes, Sainz able to make a move and move himself up, which he's the only one flying the flag for McLaren for the rest of this race now. So yeah, every point matters for Carlos Sainz and that McLaren Audi team as we now head into the pit lane. You can see there's Charles Leclerc. He's about to get ahead of Perez, obviously, as those guys come into the pit lane. And Leclerc already about to go past us now. We're not even near our pit box. You can see there goes Leclerc. So he's a mile ahead. But do remember, he has to make another pit stop as well because he's on that two-stop strategy. He's currently on a set of softs, and he'll have to go onto a set of mediums later on as we exit the pit lane. Where is Daniel Ricciardo? There he is! And same too with Sebastian Vettel, so it's going to be a race, and he's actually ahead of us, same with Sebastian Vettel, so that one-lap undercut from those guys has worked an absolute treat for them as we now ring into the track in P4 behind our teammate and the Ferrari. So got a bit of work to do if we want to get back ahead of these guys. Unfortunately for us there, that one-lap undercut, the undercut around here, seeming very, very strong. As we saw with Leclerc as well, he's an absolute mile ahead with a massive undercut. So here we go now, lap 18. Vettel's going to go for a move on Ricciardo. I decided not to make that 3 wide because someone was just bound to get damaged. But I'm going to try and benefit from this as much as possible. So Vettel into P2. Now we're going to go side by side with our teammate down towards turn 4. And we do actually get it ahead. Not able to get the Ferrari, but we do get ourselves back into 3rd place. And now, hopefully with one lap fresher rubber, we have that slight grip advantage we need to make a move quite easily stick on Vettel. But just here, having a look at Charles Leclerc, we just have to appreciate this. He's got a 12-second lead. Obviously, we know he's on the 2 stop, so he's going to have to make another pit stop, and he'll most likely end up coming out behind us. But he'll have much fresher tyres and be able to start making moves very quickly. And yeah, he just seems to be able to pull big gaps and get big leads every single time that he's not challenged. Almost every single race he's been able to do. This is why he actually come back to us out of nowhere. We are alongside Sebastian Vettel through turn 3. As we start to pull ahead a little bit, we are ahead, but we don't have DRS. So Vettel's going to be the one with DRS, so he's going to come straight back at us here, down towards turn 4. He's going to go to the outside. We're going to dive it back to the inside as late on the brakes as we possibly can, and we do make the move stick there. And now Ricciardo, right on the back of the Ferrari. Is he able to make a move? No, he's not quite. He's just going to sit behind, bide his time, and maybe next time around he can do something. But here's Verstappen in P5 chasing us down. He's actually closing a little bit because of our battling. Sainz currently sits P6 ahead of the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez in P7. Zhou Guanyu sits in P8. He's another driver on the 2-stop strategy. You can see there he's on softs, so he's got that undercut on his teammate, got an upper position on him. Here's Hamilton in P9 on the 1-stop strategy, and then Gasly rounds out the top 10 in P10. Obviously, he's also on a 1-stop strategy. So in the top 10, it's only Zhou and Leclerc that are on 2 stops. You can see here's Alonso down in P11. He's actually dropped quite a bit off of Hamilton there, so that's a shame there for Alonso in the Alpine. But yeah, he's doing as much as he can with that car, I'm sure. But you can see here comes Sebastian Vettel trying to attack us into turn 3. He's not able to do it, and we actually have DRS. So again, same as a few laps ago, Vettel is left without DRS, so Ricciardo should have the ability to try and attack here, but he's not quite able to. We had to go a bit defensive there just to make sure we broke slipstream. And now you can see Verstappen's actually on the back of this pack, and so now it's a 4-way fight for second place here as we now head onto lap 22. Here comes Sebastian Vettel once again with the DRS. He's going to go to the outside of turn 3. He's a bit further up than he was last time, but we're deep under the brakes to make sure we go alongside and try and get the better exit. Do we get it? Yes, we do. And once again, we have DRS. So Vettel actually doesn't even seem to need DRS. He's still right on the back of us as we head down towards turn 4. He's going to dive it again. He puts his nose in there, so I leave the space to make sure we don't make contact with the Ferrari. And we're going to go side by side. And he actually made some moves stick, so he's into P2. We're down to P3. Ricciardo tries to come at us there, but we have the better run through turn 6. And that is us now still holding on to P3, trying to get a move back on the Ferrari as we head towards the end of lap 22 here. Are we able to maybe get it down the main straight, maybe down towards turn 3 again as we stay as close as possible? Ricciardo right on the back of us as well. He's looking very punchy this race. And Verstappen we have to think about as well now as we go down towards turn 1 on lap 23. We're on the outside. We're trying to force him to the inside so we can get a good run out as possible. And yeah, he's had a horrible run, so we've nailed that. And now Ricciardo and Verstappen are right on the back of the Ferrari, and we've got a nice little gap as Ricciardo's going to look to the outside. Verstappen's going to go to the inside, so these guys are going to go 3 wide into turn 3. This normally doesn't end well. They're going to do it. They've all somehow come out of that without making contact. That is some great racing by these guys. Verstappen has to drop back on the very inside. He didn't have a great run, as both these guys now have DRS. They were just close enough for it. And Vettel is going to have the inside. Ricciardo tries to sweep around the outside, but it's very hard to make a move around the outside of that corner, it seems, in this race. And Vettel holds on to P2, Ricciardo P3, Verstappen P4, because Leclerc has now made his second stop. He's into P6. He's just overtaken Sergio Perez, and he's going to be hunting us down for that position as we now head down towards turn 3 again on lap 24. We get a beautiful switchback on Vettel there as he ran a little bit deep into the corner. So now Vettel has to compete with Daniel Ricciardo. Verstappen is also just behind, so Ricciardo gets ahead. Now Verstappen's going to dive to the inside here. They're going to go side by side. He's going to hold on to the position. Verstappen does get ahead, and here's Charles Leclerc. He's here now on his fresh tyres, hunting us down. He dives it to the inside of his teammate. What a move from Leclerc. He's got some serious momentum on those fresh tyres now, and he's going to get the move done up into P4. So he's making this 2-stop work for him. That just shows how much pace Charles Leclerc has in that Ferrari. He's just absolutely insane this season, as he's somehow making a 2-stop strategy work around here. He just has the pace to do it. As we now head down the main straight, you can see there is Daniel Ricciardo right behind us as we go into turn 1. Our teammate trying to hustle and harry us here. He's going to have the DRS on us. So as we head up the main straight here, Ricciardo actually under attack from Max Verstappen, and now they're both going to go. Now we're going 3 wide out of nowhere. We got 3 wide. I back out of it there. Now Leclerc's on our inside. So Verstappen and Ricciardo are racing. We're racing Leclerc. We get ahead of Leclerc, and now Ricciardo's the one without DRS. So once again, are we going to go 3 wide? Yes, we are. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 4 now. And who's going to come out on top of this? It's myself and Ricciardo that have come out ahead of Verstappen, and Ricciardo's going to come out ahead of us there. Are we going to try and hold around the outside? You bet we are. We're going to go around the outside of turn 6, and we make the move stick. We're into P1 once again, leading the Grand Prix ahead of Ricciardo. Verstappen actually drops back behind Leclerc now, who's in P3, and Sainz and Vettel just at the back of this pack as well. Vettel losing a bunch of positions after this, and now Ricciardo's dumped it on us at the second last corner. We're going to go side by side through the final corner. I've run right off the track there, but luckily we didn't gain too much of an advantage, so the FIA says it's okay. It was hard, fair racing as we go into turn 1. Leclerc trying to go around the outside of Ricciardo, but he's not able to make a stick. And wow, we've got a little bit of a gap, but these guys all have DRS, so that gap means absolutely nothing as we head towards turn 3. Here comes our teammate once again on lap 26 to the outside of turn 3. We defend it very nicely, so Ricciardo backs out, but he's right on the back of us now, and once again he'll have DRS down towards turn 4 now. You can see, looking at our mirrors, he gets closer. So we're going to go defensive to the inside of turn 4 to make sure we can get as good a run as possible. And there's contact between ourselves and Ricciardo. It's run us off track, and he's hit us again. We've spun here out of the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Ricciardo's out. His front left wheel has come off of his car, and there's another safety car here. A second safety car this race, and that is an absolute disaster. Massive controversy between myself and my teammate Daniel Ricciardo, who's out of the race, racing for 1-2, first and second here in Austria. We're going to have a look at the onboards here in a replay. Ricciardo to the inside, and really looking at it now, I probably should have left him a bit more room, but at the same time, it sort of looks like he turned into us at the last second. So we're going to watch in a bit of slow-mo here. You can see I absolutely should have left him a bit more room, but you can see here, for whatever reason, at this point here, he just turns straight to the left towards us, and that's when he hits us here. He could have ridden that curb a little bit more. Obviously, I've said it before, I should have left him more room, but at this point, yeah, I'm surprised he even made the corner. He was just lucky enough to get that car stopped and rotated. Meanwhile, we just had a bit too much speed on us, and so we went off on the grass a little bit, and as we rejoined, it looks a bit more extreme here than it did on my point of view, but yeah, we've just made contact there. I don't know if he just wasn't expecting me to rejoin there, or if he just didn't care, but yeah, certainly from my view, if you go back and have a look, I didn't even feel like I was that far off the track to begin with, and so I just figured I could just slide my car back over onto the curb there. You can see Charles Leclerc's actually broken his front wing. Same too with Verstappen and Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. Here's the onboard view with Hamilton. He would have been absolutely smiling ear to ear when he saw that. He's made up so many positions. And now here you can see Max Verstappen into the pit lane to fix his front wing. Same too with Charles Leclerc. These guys will go onto a fresh set of softs. Hamilton's now going to lead the Grand Prix after running most of it down in P8, P9. We're going to continue on as well, because somehow we didn't get any front wing damage. It's just we got a little bit of a side pod damage, I believe, or floor damage or something, and so that can't be fixed. So we're just going to have to run the rest of this race with that little bit of disadvantage in our car. But you can see all these guys here, new front wings, fresh soft tires, so sure they're going to lose a lot of spots, but they're going to be mega quick at the end of this race. But yeah, massive controversy between myself and Ricciardo. Let me know who you think was at fault there. Honestly, I feel like that was a sort of I want to say 50-50, but maybe leaning a bit more towards myself. We'll just have to have a look at what comes of this, because obviously after this race we have contract negotiations, so I don't know if I want to re-sign Ricciardo. Ricciardo might not even want to re-sign with us after that. But you can see here's a little rundown of the grid. We've got Verstappen in P6, Zhou's in P7. He's on the 2-stop, remember, so those mediums are a bit fresher than ours as well. So he might be a bit of a threat. Leclerc's down in P8. He's got quite a bit to do if he wants to get back up towards the pointy end of the grid. Latifi and Mazepin round out the top 10 there. They're not really going to be much of a threat whatsoever. Carlos Sainz is right down in 13th, so he's got a massive amount of work if he wants to move up. Perez is in 14th, Vettel in 15th. So, yeah, we went from racing for the lead with Vettel to, unfortunately, he got massively caught up in that incident and had to double stack with Leclerc. So he's right down there. But here we go, lap 28, safety car restart. for the start of lap 29. We're going to try and stay close to Hamilton, but we just got a little bit caught out there. I was a little bit napping, and now he's got a bit of a gap, so we're not going to be able to do anything into turn 1, as we're going to have a look back to Max Verstappen. Is he going for a move on anyone a little bit further back? No, he's not, so we're just going to have to follow Hamilton around for a little bit by the looks of it. And now Verstappen is going to go for a move on Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri there. I imagine Tsunoda won't put up too much of a fight for the senior Red Bull team. He tries to hang it around the outside a little bit, but in the end, that fresh soft rubber is just way too much for that AlphaTauri to try and handle. Here's Charles Leclerc. He hasn't done any moves yet at this point, and he's going to sit behind Zhou Guanyu just for a little bit longer by the looks of it as they head out of turn 4. Leclerc does have a good run. Is he going to go for his signature move here into turn 6? No, he's going to sit behind once again. So yeah, this is what we want. We want Leclerc, especially Leclerc, to be held up in as much traffic as possible here. Now Max Verstappen going for a move on Fernando Alonso into the second last corner. That just shows the speed difference between the Red Bull on fresh softs and the Alpine on old mediums. And the Verstappen's already in P4. We're going to have to watch out for him. You can see there's Charles Leclerc getting a move done on Zhou Guanyu. As we now head down towards turn 1, it's ourselves versus Hamilton. We're going to go around the outside. Do we get the move done on the 7-time champion? Yes, we do. We're into the lead. We now need to try and maximize our pace and pull away from this pack as much as we can before these guys catch up to us on their fresh softs. You can see Leclerc got his move done on Yuki Tsunoda. Verstappen now right on the back of Pierre Gasly. Is he going to be able to make another move on the AlphaTauri? He's going to have to wait a little bit here to the end of lap 30. He's going to have to go to the inside for turn number, for the second last corner. I'm not completely sure on the corner numbers, but he gets the move done there. Leclerc gets the move done on Alonso at the exact same point. So these guys are already into P3 and P5, so they are moving up the field very, very quickly at this point. You can see Hamilton's still very close to us. Is he going to be able to go for a move on lap 31 here, down towards turn 3? DRS has been enabled now. You can see Verstappen's already a part of this battle now. He's just right on the back of us here, and Hamilton's going to have a look to the outside of turn 3, but we cover him off there, so he's not able to make the move. Verstappen's right behind us. Gasly and Leclerc are also right in this. I imagine Gasly will just start to drop off a little bit, though, on those older medium tyres. As we head down towards turn 4, Leclerc not able to get close enough to go for a move on the Frenchman in the AlphaTauri there. Verstappen not quite close enough to go for a move on Lewis Hamilton. Here's Sergio Perez down at P12. He's going for a move on Nicholas Latifi, that is. He hasn't been able to make up as much space as Verstappen. He's hit the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Perez is out of the race. That's another safety car. You can see on the safety car board at the back, just in the background there. It's a third safety car here in Austria, just like last time out here. Last season we had 3 safety cars. And look at this. Both Verstappen and Leclerc were able to get ahead of Gasly and Hamilton just before that point. And so now, with we'll probably have like 2-3 laps remaining. We've got the 2 fastest guys on track without a doubt, right on our tail. And we've on old medium tyres with a damaged underbody of this car. So this is our 3rd safety car restart, and this is by far the slowest that anyone's gone on a restart. I'm trying to nail this start here, but we get a massive tank slapper. But what does it look like? It's actually not too bad. Verstappen's a little bit far behind, so he won't be challenging us into turn 1. The question though is how long can we hold these guys off? It's a 2-lap sprint to the finish. Can we win the Austrian Grand Prix? More importantly, can we keep it ahead of Leclerc to keep the championship lead out of the Austrian Grand Prix? It's been a crazy, crazy race. Lots of ups and downs. Now Verstappen is going to come to the inside. Is he able to make it stick? No, we get the better run out of the corner. But it's not over there because Verstappen is still very, very close. And so with some slipstream, he's going to have a go at us once again in turn 4. Once again, I go defensive. I am going to have to defend with everything I have if I want even a chance of winning this race. As we now head down towards turn 6, Verstappen not able to make it work, so we're going to have to wait now for the final lap of the Grand Prix. We're somehow held him on for 1 lap. Can we do it again? As we head into turn 1, no challenge from either of the guys behind, but Leclerc and Verstappen are right on top of each other, so hopefully they battle each other as we head towards turn 3. This is the straight where we're going to be most vulnerable, the longest run up to a corner, and now Verstappen to the outside. Is he going to be able to make the move stick? We lock up a front wheel a little bit, so we're going to go side by side through turn 3, and now we're still side by side out of turn 3, down towards turn 4, and who's going to get the better of it? Down towards turn 4, and actually Verstappen's completely ahead. Verstappen's gone, and Leclerc with a massive dive around the outside, so Verstappen's gone. He's going to win this Grand Prix unless he has an issue, but can we hold on to Leclerc to keep the lead of the championship here? We're going to go around the outside. Leclerc has more grip as we head yet another left-hand corner. He's just getting all the corners here, and he's ahead. So we have one more chance at making a move on Leclerc if we want to get into P2. Down towards the second last corner. Are we able to make a move? No, Leclerc's just able to sweep across us there. And so Verstappen wins here in Austria. Leclerc P2. And after that intense race, you can see the frustration on the steering wheel. We're going to finish in P3.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
And so while on paper, starting P7 and finishing P3 sounds like a great result, I just can't help but be frustrated. We've thrown away multiple opportunities at winning that race. As well as the collision with Ricciardo that put him out of the race completely, costing us vital points. So, not the race that we were looking for here in Austria. You can see Verstappen takes the win over Leclerc and ourselves in third. Hamilton finishes in P4 ahead of Sainz in P5. In terms of the driver standings, we're now 1 point behind Charles Leclerc after he was able to make that move on us on the final lap. Verstappen moves himself up into P3. Vettel in 4th, Sainz 5th, Hamilton 6th, Ricciardo drops back down to 7th, Norris 8th, Perez 9th, and Zhou rounds out the top 10. You can see we're now 30 points behind the Ferraris in the Constructors' Championship, and Red Bull remain in 3rd. AlphaTauri, the only ones to actually make a position change this round, moving themselves up to 6th, and they're now on equal points with Alpine. So, not the race we're looking for in terms of points, but you can see now we've got driver negotiations, which will be done in the next episode, as well as the Belgian Grand Prix, and who knows what the future is for our teammate in the second half of the season. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this in the future, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.